Hi there. These comments are for SD. I'm just working outside today, so I'm putting my sunglasses on. It's a little bit bright out there, but and I am from OTC, OnlineToeflCourse.com. And let's take a look at your email here. Okay, so the question here is your current scores. You have reading 17, listening 23. You have speaking 22, writing 21. However, you need to get reading 22, listening 21. So you're already there on the listening, right? You're already there in the speaking, right? And then you need to get 3 points higher on the writing. The question here is, I think that your question is, can you achieve the score of, can you reach these subtotals in 90 days, right? That's your question. Now, in most cases, I would say no. Reading is very low here. So you're trying to go from 17 to 22. That's putting you about 5 points just in that one area. The listening is already good. Speaking is good. I think you can do the 3 points in the writing. I've already read an essay that you wrote. As long as you take some of my suggestions, and you might schedule a couple of TOEFL private lessons or something right before you take the test, I think you should be fine. But reading, I don't know. How hard are you willing to work? I mean, that's a question. So my TOEFL, my 3-month course, it has everything that you need, right? So as long as you're studying the recommended lessons that you need to study, I think you can make your improvements, but it's a very tough road to improve reading, and it takes a lot of discipline on your part. Okay, so let me go over what you need to do here. Okay, so let me explain to you here. Reading, really, there's 5 specific things that you want to do, and I'm going to talk about it in a specific order. And the first 3 things I'm talking about, you want to spend more time on those first 3 steps and then less time on step 4 and 5. But everybody wants to spend more time on step 4 and 5. But unfortunately, it's not going to get them 22 on the reading, like in your situation, right? So step 1. Before you do anything right now, sit down and read for about an hour. Now, at first, you probably can't even do this, right? So maybe set a goal for 30 minutes the first time. Then the second time you sit down to read, try to do it for 35. Now, when I'm saying reading, that means not answering your cell phone, not going to Twitter, no Snapchat, no TV, no talking to anybody. It means sitting down and reading and concentrating on the text. Now, you should not be doing TOEFL reading passages when you do this. You should be reading either newspapers, magazines, or books, something that you actually have an interest in. That is what you do first. Every day for an hour, for 2.5 months. You must do that before anything else. So you should get to the point where you're comfortably reading for an hour with no distractions, without stopping. You're reading for about 60 seconds. Now, you won't understand everything you're reading, but that doesn't mean that you're not ready to take the TOEFL exam. That's your first step, is to do that. You do not need my TOEFL course to do that. You do that on your own. Number 2, you need my TOEFL course for this. I want you to learn vocabulary lessons number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's 1,700 college level words. Learn the words. Most people cannot handle that. It's too difficult for them. But if you don't learn the words, you're not going to have the reading proficiency that you need to get the 22 or higher, and your score is going to maintain. It's going to be low like it is now. You must build your vocabulary. So listen 2, 3, 4, 5, actually lesson 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? Learn the words in those lessons. You should be writing the words on note cards and then studying those. Each lesson will tell you what you need to do. It takes more than 100 hours to learn those words, if you're lucky. For some people, it takes 150 to 200 hours to learn those words. You must learn the words. And the only way you're going to do it is by hard work. That's the second step. Learn all the vocabulary words in my online TOEFL course. I don't have any apps for it. I don't have any games for it. You need to take the words, write them down on note cards, make your study guides, and that's it. And start studying those study guides. Study those note cards over and over and over until you know the words like I know the back of my hand, my friend. You got to do that. Number 3, you must build your vocabulary. No, you must build your reading speed. You have to be able to read faster. Faster readers actually have better comprehension than slower readers, believe it or not. Michael, how do you know that? Because I read a lot of research. And I've been teaching TOEFL for 30 years. That's how I know, right? If you read faster, you will understand more of what you read. If you understand more of what you read, you're going to do better on the TOEFL exam. What's your goal here? Your goal is 300 words per minute with 60 to 80% comprehension. You never have to have 100% comprehension. So in the reading part of my course, you should go through the speed reading videos. Start with 100 words a minute, and then each day go 5 words more. So 100, 105, 110, 115. You should go all the way to 350. If you can read my very last speed reading video, right? It's 350 words. You look at the video for 1 minute, even take notes if you want, but for only 60 seconds, you look at it. Then you take the practice test. If you get 60 on that, that means your reading is adequate. It's fast enough for the TOEFL. It's fast enough for most university coursework. Number 4, you need to know the TOEFL reading question types and the strategies for answering them. You can learn everything you need to know in the reading part of my course about the reading question types and the specific strategies for answering those question types. That's number 4. Number 5, take TOEFL level reading practice test. Now, my online TOEFL course does not have that. You need to use a TOEFL book or maybe go to TPO or something. So you should take some reading practice tests to monitor your progress and your comprehension to see how you're doing. So if you do those 5 things for about 2.5 months, that's going to give you about 7 points. That's my experience, 7 points. So A, read an hour every day nonstop. Don't use a dictionary when you see words you don't know. B, learn the vocabulary in my online TOEFL course. This is the worst, the most difficult part of what I'm telling you. It can take 100 to 200 hours just to do that one thing. 3, increase your reading speed to at least 300 words a minute, 60 to 80% comprehension. 4, learn the TOEFL reading question types and the strategies for answering those questions, and then take TOEFL level reading practice tests. Now remember, a lot of students, they just focus on steps 4 and 5. They never make their goal, and they're in TOEFL hell, my friend. Because if you haven't learned the vocabulary, if your reading speed stinks, and you haven't been reading every day for a few months, you're not comfortable with academic reading, right? So steps 4 and 5 in and of themselves, it's not enough. You need steps 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You need to do all of these things. You should spend 80% of your time on the first 3 steps and then 20% of your reading practice on steps 4 and 5. That's what you're trying to do there. Okay, that's the main thing that I wanted to share with you there. And I think if you're willing to go through the work and you learn the words, you do the suggestions I'm telling you in this video, you will reach your goal. If you're lazy and you try to take the shortcut, I'm just going to take a whole bunch of reading practice tests, I'll just memorize the strategies. You're going to be a truck with its tires stuck in mud going nowhere. There's no shortcut to reading proficiency. It's very tough. It's hard work. It takes time. That's the bottom line right there. Anybody that tells you differently, they don't understand second language acquisition, my friend. You see what I'm saying here? Okay, so I think that's it. So I think the most difficult journey for you is the reading. You must start immediately implementing what I've already said. Now, you should also do listening practice at my website. Just because your listening is already good doesn't mean you don't need to practice it. You should still do speaking practice. What you might want to do is limit your speaking practice to maybe once a week, and then do maybe 3 or 4 writing practice tests each week, and you can focus more on the writing. So you got to hit the reading and the writing areas of my course a lot more than the other areas. And the only way you're going to improve the reading is by the suggestions I just gave you in this video. All right? And that's my answer to your question. So can you reach your goal in 90 days? It just depends on if you're willing to do the practice that you need to reach your goal. If you say, yes, Michael, I'm willing to do this, 99% of all students are not willing to do what I just said. They're lazy. They want to find a shortcut, an easy way to do it. They spend most of their time at TPO, and that's it. And they retake the TOEFL exam 7, 8, 9, 10 times. They end up in TOEFL hell. That's exactly what happens to those people. So be careful. All right, now anybody else watching the video at this point, I'll be surprised if you're still watching this thing. But if you are, subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want to get some more tips, if you want to see my interaction with my international students I'm teaching all over the world, you can follow my YouTube channel. Even better, you should go over to bettertoeflscores.com. Check out my blog. I got 850 different lessons, all geared to help you improve your TOEFL score. How about that? Just go to bettertoeflscores.com.